Everyone, thank you for coming today to the Port of New Orleans Harbor Police Department Recruitment Webinar. For those of you that know folks that wanted to attend but couldn't make it at this time, we are recording the session, so it's going to go on our website today, as well as all of our social media channels and YouTube, so we'll be able to share it with anyone who might be interested in learning more about our Harbor Police Department. My name is Kathy Alfonso. I am the Port's Community Engagement Manager, and I'd like to take a moment to introduce the folks that are joining us from our Harbor Police Department today. We have Captain Melanie Montreal. We have Lieutenant Cedric Turner, who is the Director of Training, and we have Lieutenant Chris Smith, who is our Director of Criminal Investigations. So I will hand it over to them to talk a little bit about themselves and introduce themselves and talk about how long they've been with Harbor Police. So, Captain.
Hello, everyone. My name is Captain Melanie Montreal. I am the Assistant Chief here at the Harbor Police Department. I have been here for 21 years, and throughout my career here, I've had the pleasure of starting as a police recruit. I attended the Harbor Police Department's Police Academy, and I have worked in probably every division that we have here, which has been so exciting for me. Starting off as a police officer, I've worked in training division, the Marine division, our Homeland Security Anti-Terrorism Unit. I've been privy to work in our criminal investigations and internal affairs, and also to my current assignment as the Assistant Chief of the Harbor Police Department. I studied at University of New Orleans, where I obtained my MBA with a concentration in management. And I did my undergrad at Southern University, where I attained the undergraduate degree in business with a concentration on economics. Being at the Harbor Police Department and all of the different aspects and the different things that we've done has afforded me a great career and definitely given me career diversity. So welcome, everyone, and we look forward to meeting you all. I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Chris Smith.
Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Lieutenant Chris Smith. I have just under 10 years here with the Harbor Police Department. I started here as a recruit and started in the patrol division. After 6 years, I was transferred to the Criminal Investigations Division when I was promoted to Sergeant. And then a couple of years after that, I was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant and became the Commander of Criminal Investigations Division. I attended undergrad at the University of New Orleans before coming to Harbor Police. And I've also had the privilege of working with most of our divisions here at Harbor Police, such as the Marine Division, the Bicycle Division, and the SRT team. And I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Turner.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Lieutenant Cedric Turner, and I've been in law enforcement for about 27 years. I spent my first 7 years over at the Orleans Criminal Sheriff's Department, and my last 20 years have been here at the Port of New Orleans Harbor Police Department, where I found my home. I started out, everyone else, on patrol, and after 10 years, moved up to Assistant Director of Training, and I'm now currently the Director of Training. And just like everyone else, I've pretty much been in every specialized division that we have. That's everything from our training division to our SRT and also our bike division. And I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us today.
All right, well, thank you all for that. And so before we get started learning more about Harbor Police, I wanted to take a moment to give a quick overview of the Port of New Orleans itself, our lines of business and what we do. So the Port of New Orleans is considered a diverse landlord port. Diverse because we have 4 different lines of business that go into our day-to-day operations. And we are a landlord port, meaning that we have different tenants that lease the real estate and infrastructure from the Port of New Orleans and then go and hire their own staff and run their day-to-day operations. And so our first line of business is cargo, which you see in the top left and bottom right pictures. We handle both containerized cargo, which is cargo that is moved inside of those rectangle boxes known as containers. And we also handle break bulk cargo, which is the cargo that you see on the bottom right picture. In the most simple way, the easiest way to think about it is cargo that is not moved inside of a container. We also have a strategic partnership with the New Orleans Public Belt Railroad. That is our second line of business, bringing in about 31% of our total annual revenue. And the mission of the New Orleans Public Belt is to serve the Port of New Orleans and help move cargo for the larger railroad systems known as the Class 1s in and out of the port more efficiently. Our third line of business is real estate. And so as a landlord, we own about 2,200 acres of real estate within our 3-parish jurisdiction, which is Jefferson, Orleans, and St. Bernard Parish. And so as the landlord, like I said, owning this real estate, we own certain infrastructure such as warehouses. We lease those out to tenants and, work with our regional economic development partners to strategically develop areas that, value add services such as distribution centers and things that can support the maritime logistics here in our region. And I'm sorry, the slide went ahead. And our last line of business is cruise. And so the cruise industry is something that a lot of folks here locally are very familiar with. And prior to the pandemic, we are the 6th largest cruise port in the country. And we are anticipated to serve around 1.4 million annual passengers a year. And so we're very happy that the cruise industry is back and, running in a safe and healthy manner during these uncertain times. And so that is just a very quick overview of the Port of New Orleans and our day-to-day operations. Harbor Police plays a very integral role in helping to protect these assets. And so I'm now going to turn it over to Captain Montreal to talk a little bit more about Harbor Police and our history.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so Harbor Police, who are we and why are we different? So Harbor Police is the police department for the Port of New Orleans, as Kathy said. And there is a lot of diversity in what we do because while we are a traditional police department where we handle your normal crimes or your normal calls for service, there is a difference with us because we also are responsible for the maritime side. For example, the cruise ship industry. So when the cruise ship comes into the port, the Harbor Police is responsible for the security of the cruise ship, the vessel itself, as well as the passengers and the other entities in and around the port. So those are things that make us different, whereas you're not just on your traditional beat, just doing police calls. We do have other calls. And then also, as she said, with the containers and the ships that come in, we do police those vessels as well. And we do ensure that the port is safe and that the cargo and everything gets to where it needs to be. So just a little bit more about us. So we are a police department that has 41 sworn police officers. Every police officer attends a state certified police academy. We have a state certified police academy as well. And in addition to just patrolling the land, we are also responsible for the Mississippi River, the Industrial Canal, and 22 miles along the Mississippi River for the port's property. So we actually started our Marine Division in 1956. We got our first patrol and rescue vessel, and that vessel is also used for other things such as dignitaries or proactive patrols. In 1974, we became a state certified police academy in addition to not only training all harbor police officers, we also train other officers that are going to different agencies around the state. So in 2017, we relaunched our bicycle division, and that focus for us was on community policing and being accessible to the community and having more reach and to be able to reach more areas that we can't always reach by a police vehicle. So again, we patrol 22 miles along the Mississippi River and Industrial Canal. We are state commissioned and we have jurisdiction in 3 parishes, which is Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Bernard. At this time, I'll take a quick pause. Does anybody have any questions on the history? All right, if not, then Kathy, can you go to the next slide, please? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Chris Smith. He will talk to you about our patrol division and some of those responsibilities. Chris?
Well, our patrol division is the backbone of our department. They are responsible for all of the primary law enforcement activities that HPD handles. Some of the duties that they perform every day is the prevention of crime through proactive patrol. They are looking for hazards. They can perform fire inspections at the wharves, at the port tenant buildings and things like that for safety. They also respond to calls for service. Any calls that come into Harbor Police, we respond to, and our response time is very efficient. They also investigate and report all crimes. They don't just go to a crime scene and hurry up and get done. They actually perform a thorough investigation and a thorough police report for every crime. They're also CPR certified, so if they have to administer aid to anyone who's injured, they're trained to do so, and they can do so professionally. And then they also have to give testimony in court cases to follow up on the arrests that they have made. Some of the other tasks that they perform every day is traffic enforcement and investigating vehicular crashes. They provide emergency services for the port and dignitaries. And the last thing is developing good public relations between the citizens and the department. It's one of the things that we have strived for is community policing. We don't want our officers just to go out there and enforce laws. We want them to develop a relationship with the citizens and the port tenants so that we have a good trust and working relationship with those individuals. And it helps us better ourselves as a department and perform our police duties more efficiently. So with that, Kathy, can you go to the next slide, please? Right. And then we have our criminal investigations division. I'm the commander of that division. It was formed to conduct investigations on thefts and burglaries and things like that that occurred on port property. But since then, we have expanded and developed into a full-fledged investigations division. We follow up on all UCR crimes. UCR crimes are reportable crimes to the FBI, such as homicide, rape, burglaries, thefts, aggravated assaults, and major crimes. We work closely with local and federal task forces to share information and make sure that we receive information. We also collect evidence on crime scenes and make sure that those are submitted for preservation for cases in court. Another function that we do in the criminal investigation division is that we conduct all the recruit applicant background checks. We do thorough backgrounds on everyone who applies to the Harbor Police Department to ensure that the candidates that we accept are of good moral standing. We also consult with the district attorney's office on criminal cases. We're trained in interview and interrogation, so that way we can interview witnesses and interrogate suspects of criminal activity and things like that. The Criminal Investigations Division also performs the internal affairs duties of the department. We take this extremely this is a huge responsibility that we feel is extremely important. It helps us ensure that the integrity of our department remains at the level that we expect and strive for as a police department. Before we move on, is there any questions about the patrol division or the criminal investigations division? Okay, well, with that, I will turn it over to Lieutenant Cedric Turner. Kathy, can you go to the next one?
My name is Lieutenant Cedric Turner, and I happen to be over our training division. If you guys come on with the Harbor Police, you'll immediately enter our State of Louisiana Certified Police Academy. Now, this academy lasts approximately 4 months. And in that 4 months, you'll be learning everything there is you need to know to be a police officer. And that list consists of active shooter training, defensive tactics, hazmat, report writing, all of your criminal laws, as well as your traffic laws. And now with the defensive tactics, I get a lot of questions about this. This portion of the academy lasts for about a week long. And you'll be learning self-defense techniques throughout the week, day in and day out. What's funny about that, I always get recruits coming back to me about 2 days in and say, hey, you know, man, I went home and I tried one of these moves and these techniques on my husband or a family member. I can't believe they work. So that's always funny to hear those stories. Now, we don't teach you guys this for the purpose of going home and trying these things on your family members, but we always get a kick out of hearing those things. But like I said, the academy is approximately 4 months long. Now, after you get out of the academy, you'll be put into our FTO program. New recruits always have a concern about, when I get out of the academy, will I be ready to be a patrolman on the street? And not quite. And that's where our FTO program comes in. And that FTO stands for Field Training Officer Program. This is where you'll be riding along with a veteran officer who will show you how to bridge that gap from the academy to actually patrolling the streets and patrolling the port. This is about a 3-month program. So the way it works is you'll have a veteran officer ride with you for 2 weeks. And so that it's not so overwhelming because we're giving you a lot of information, it's broken up into phases. And in that first phase, that first FTO will more than likely train you on routes to take to get to and from different locations. You'll learn about our administration building, where our substation is located and things like that. And then in that second phase, they'll move on to things like report writing, writing tickets, summonses, and so on and so on. We find that to be very helpful. That way, it's not overwhelming with all of the amount of information given to you. But again, your training doesn't stop there. After you do your FTO training, the Harbor Police Department trains annually. Every month, they have a new topic where we'll be training on pretty much the same things you learned in the academy. So this kind of acts like a refresher. And again, you'll cover everything from sexual battery, sexual harassment, diversity training, defensive tactics, again, firearms training. So all of those things will provide year-round, every year. And so that's pretty much our training division. Next slide. Now, after you've entered the patrol division and you've been here and have established permanent status, you will be afforded the opportunity to join one of our specialized divisions. In our first specialized division here, we have the Marine Division. Now, the Marine Division is composed of 5 patrolmen, and they're responsible for patrolling the Mississippi River, along with the Industrial Canal, aboard our 50-foot Sea Ark patrol vessel. Now, while in the river on this vessel, these officers are looking for any type of criminal activity. They're also looking for maybe suspicious packages under the wharf, as well as providing security for the other vessels in the river. Now, they also patrol the Industrial Canal and the Inner Harbor Navigational Canal. And what they're looking for there is a little different because we encounter a lot more personal watercrafts. And that can be anything from maybe a jet ski to a fishing boat. So what they're looking for in the canal pretty much is reckless operation with the vessel. They may be looking for people illegally fishing. And yes, it is illegal to fish in the canal. Now, that wasn't always the case. That came about in the early 80s. And the way that happened was we had these fishing vessels that would kind of clog up the canal and wouldn't get out of their way for the vessels that was trying to pass. So in the early 80s, they banned fishing in the canal. Also, our patrol officers that patrol on the patrol boat, they also cross-train with our fireboat crew aboard the 96-foot fire vessel. These officers attend a week-long firefighting class. And that's important because it's a little different fighting fires on the river compared to fighting fires on land. If you have a vessel that's on fire, you can actually sink a boat if you put too much water. So we do a lot of training with our fireboat crew and manning the water cannons. Also, our patrol boat is responsible for responding for search and rescue missions. Unfortunately, here on the river, we have quite a few people who think it's a great idea to try and swim across the river and try to go around vessels. It doesn't always work out so well. So we also are responsible for responding to things of that nature. Also, we assist with dignitaries who visit the area. A few years ago, we had President Obama who visited New Orleans, and we were a major part of that escort along the river. And so that's pretty much our Marine Division wrapped up. Next slide. Now, next we have our Special Response Team, and the acronym would be SRT team. A lot of officers find this to be our most attractive division because they feel as though this is our most action-packed division. Now, these officers go through a 3-month training course. And this is where they learn how to utilize special equipment and tactics. They're also proficient in every type of weapon that's used with that team. They also respond to high-risk situations. And of course, right now, high-risk situations are active shooter events. That seems to be the popular thing going on right now. So they do respond to those calls, and they train constantly year-round on how to actually apprehend an active shooter. They also specialize in escorts of high-value assets and dignitaries. They train in our mobile command center as well, and this is our box truck that's equipped to handle all of our communications. It's like taking our dispatch and communication center and putting it on a vehicle. It's also equipped with a camera that can actually see approximately 2 to 3 miles away, which works pretty good when we're talking about doing surveillance. Now, there's not too much that I discuss about the SRT team due to a lot of the things that they do classified. But to give you an example of an operation they had, just last year, we had a problem with a guy who was committing several thefts inside of one of the stores in the Riverwalk Mall. And this had been going on for like 6 months. Well, that team got together and put an operation together and was able to apprehend this subject without incident. So that's kind of what happens with our SRT team. And a lot of questions I do get is, well, how do I get to be a member of this? Well, first and foremost, you have to be in good health. And also you have to be in great physical shape. We also require that you pass an obstacle course that we've put together along with several other agencies and other SRT teams. And once you've completed that, then you'll be considered for that division. Next slide. And last, we have our bicycle division. Now, this division happens to be my personal favorite because this division pretty much focuses on community policing. These are the officers that's out shaking hands and kissing babies. It's actually composed of about 15 officers. And these officers patrol from the French Quarter area all the way down to the Errata Street Cruise Terminal. So if you happen to see one of these bike officers out, you'll probably see them entertaining kids in the park at Waldenberg Park. You may see them engaging with cruise passengers. Now this division started back up in 2017. And of course, we had it prior to Katrina, but we lost a lot of our divisions due to the lack of manpower after Katrina. So fortunately, in 2017, we purchased 6 state-of-the-art bicycles. Now, these bicycles are equipped with lights, sirens, and also a PA system. And when I say PA system, a lot of people just can't believe that a bicycle has a PA system, but ours do. And we get a lot of attention with these bikes. So that makes great for these officers who's out doing a lot of the community policing. And so that pretty much wraps up our bike division as well. Any questions on any of our divisions or training? If not, I'll pass it on to Captain Montreal, and she can talk to you about our wonderful benefits.
All right, so in addition to being a part of a department that has diversity, that has excellent training, excellent opportunities, we actually have some great benefits. And some of those benefits are health, dental, and vision insurance. Now, after completing a police academy and being employed for 1 year, HPD officers receive state supplemental pay, which is an additional $500 monthly that goes directly into your account from the state itself. We receive a uniform allowance of $115 a month in addition to providing uniforms. So we provide you with the uniforms, and then we also give you a monthly allowance to maintain and keep those uniforms looking nice and clean and professional. All officers get premium pay, which is an additional $2 an hour for every hour that they work. And the port offers paid sick vacation as well as holidays to all officers as well. One thing I'd like to point out about the paid sick and paid vacation here with Harbor Police is we are not on a system where either you use it or you lose it. And that is a unique benefit. So it will roll over from year to year to year. So if you decide not to take a vacation 1 year, you're not going to be penalized and lose your sick leave. It would actually roll over to the next year, and you can use it when you need it or when you see fit. And we're also in the Lasers hazard duty retirement system, which are vested after 10 years. And the great thing about that laser's duty retirement, if you are in state employee and you're a civilian employee, your retirement is calculated at 2 1/3. However, all harbor police officers are in a hazard duty system, so your retirement is calculated at a higher rate, which is 3 1/3. And that makes a big difference for us. You can also retire here at 20 years at the age of 45, and you will receive your pension for the rest of your life. One good thing that I like to talk about as well is that if you are a person that doesn't take a lot of vacation and it rolls over from year to year, when you are close to the end of your retirement, you can also use that time to purchase additional years and to raise your retirement. So that is a great benefit. Here at Harbor Police, we also have off-duty details to supplement income. We have a huge influx of details in or around the port that officers have the opportunity to work. It is voluntary. If you want to work, you can. If you don't, you don't have to, but it is a great way to supplement your income. Again, we have career diversity here. In addition to traditional policing, you have the maritime aspect. You have firefighting as a police officer being trained in that. You'll have the patrol boats. So there's a lot of diversity here, a lot of different things to do, the Homeland Security, hazmat training, things like that. Life insurance here is paid by the port. You also have the option of getting additional insurance if you like that. And all uniforms, weapons, and body armor is supplied by the department. And we continuously provide those uniforms. We continuously upgrade your body armor. We make sure that you have all the tools and everything that you need to be successful. And that's why we also provide your weapon as well. We provide tasers. We provide everything that you need to be successful. And that is done annually to make sure that you have the best looking uniforms, because professionalism is definitely our standards here. I meant put on here 12-hour shifts because I think that that's a great benefit of working here. And what that does is, by working 12-hour shifts, you're only working 14 days a month, and you are off every other Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you look at that on an annual basis, you're only working 6 months out of the year and still being full-time employee. Next slide, please. And so the big question is the qualifications. So HPD Harbor Police, our slogan is honor, pride, and dedication. And we are looking for the best of the best to come and be a part of this premier agency and serve the community with dignity and respect, and maintain the respect in the community as we always have. So we are looking for candidates who are at least 20 years or older. As long as you're going to be 21 by the time you graduate the police academy, we will take you at 20. You have to pass the civil service test. That test is the 2100 series, the protective service exam. You have to have a valid driver's license and a good driving record, because you will be assigned to our patrol division and you will drive a lot. So we want to make sure you have a good driving record, and you have to have a clear criminal background. You must be in good physical and psychological condition. You have to go to a police academy if you are not already post-certified, and you must at least have a GED or high school diploma to be considered. And obviously the last and most important to us is you must be of good moral character to be a harbor police officer. And that is all that I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? If not, please come and join a law enforcement agency that is like no other, that will give you an experience of a lifetime. We are family oriented. This is a career and not a job.
Thank you all so much. That was really informative. Y'all did a great job. So now I want to open it up. If anyone has any questions that they would like to ask Captain Montreal or Lieutenant Smith or Lieutenant Turner, please let us know. So I actually have a question that I'll go ahead and I'll ask Captain is, so you all talked a lot about the workload diversity within Harbor Police Department, the opportunity that you have if you enter and become an officer with Harbor Police. So can you tell us a little bit more about that process? So what, if someone is interested in working in HPD, how do they get started? How do they go about it? And I know you kind of touched on this with some of the qualifications. And then from there, you know, what's the pathway with the training?
Okay, so let's say you're brand new, you want to work for the police department, you have no training. The first thing that you want to do is go to the civil service website and look on there and see when is this 2100 protective services exam being offered, because you have to have a passing score first. If you don't have a score, if you try to apply for us, then you're going to be kicked out because you don't have a score. So that's the first thing you want to do, is go on there, see when the exam is being offered. The great thing is they actually even offer a practice exam that you can print out that will actually help you prepare for the exam itself. Once you take that exam and you get a passing score, then at that point, you can go ahead and apply for Harbor Police Department. Once you see the announcement and you apply, like we currently have an announcement open right now, then we get a list of all applicants that have applied to the agency. We take that list and then we begin to schedule interviews. So once you schedule an interview, and everything is done in phases here, so you have to pass one phase to move to the next phase. So you get in the interview phase and you pass the interview, and then you're moved to the next phase. The next phase, which is the longest phase, is going to be the background investigations. And that is because we're going to be thorough. We are going to make sure that we are hiring people that have the standard morals and values of the agency. So once you go through the background phase, then you will start with the port's physical. So we'll send you to make sure that you're physically fit, that you have everything that you need to be a police officer, because obviously you're going to have to attend a police academy. And then once you pass that portion, then you are offered employment with the agency. Once you are offered employment with the agency and accept, then you are sent to a police academy for successful completion of that. Once you finish the police academy, again, that the minimum is about 4 months right now, then you come back and then you go into what Lieutenant Turner talked about, which is our field training officers program, our FTO program. You are assigned to multiple senior level officers here who will train you and make you be prepared to be a solo police officer, and then you are out on your own. So initially, when you get hired and you're out on your own, we're not going to immediately just put you into those specialized divisions. As Lieutenant Christopher Smith said, our patrol division is the backbone of the agency. So we want to make sure that you learn the job, that you have everything that you need. And then once you are equipped with everything on the patrol division and you are comfortable and you are ready to go, then you will have the opportunity to work in some of those other divisions. One thing we do is we send all of our police officers to Delgado's firefighting course to make sure that you have the skills needed to work on our fireboat, which is the 96-foot fireboat that we discussed earlier. So then from there, then you have the opportunity to say, okay, I want to go and work on the Marine Division. I may want to be an SRT. My focus may want to be on criminal investigations. And then as those openings come, they are put out to everyone in the agency, and then you'll have an opportunity to apply to be in those divisions as well.
Awesome. Does anyone have any other questions for Captain? And if not, if you are interested in becoming a part of Harbor Police, feel free to give your email in the chat box, and we can go ahead and send you some information about how to go about starting that process. And we also post all of our job openings on portnola.com/jobs. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, then thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you so much to all of our HPD officers for participating. This was very informative and great, and y'all are doing a great job, and we really appreciate everything y'all do. So with that, that's all for today. So thank you all so much for attending.
Thank you, everyone. We look forward to hearing from you.